The Batman on 4K. I finally got around to watching it, and boy oh boy, this is a beautiful transfer from, movie cinemas, blah blah, and onto a 4K disc. It is amazing. I saw this movie twice in the theaters. It looked absolutely gorgeous, but this 4K definitely does up it a bit and improve some color adjustments, all that kind of stuff. I do have a review of the Batman if you guys want to go check it out. I'm assuming you already have watched it when the movie came out, so this isn't really too much a review of the movie. It's more about the disc and how the 4K holds up. And for a $30 DVD, I'm pleasantly surprised. I really thought they did a great job, especially with the lighting. The only complaint I have has nothing to do with the people that made it. It's such a dark movie, so you don't have a lot of light. So I was thinking to myself, like after I bought it, because I didn't think before I bought it. After I watched it, I was like, wow, that was really dark. Like 75% of this movie is you cannot see shit. And then you get later on in the second half of the movie, it starts to brighten up a bit. Batman's in the city a lot more, and the colors are just amazing. I don't have HDR, so I didn't get the full 100% experience because I'm watching this on a monitor, unfortunately. But the monitor's 4K. I have it on my PS5, and it just looks good. I know HDR would bump it up a bit, but I've never been a huge fan of HDR. It doesn't really do anything for me. What I got here with the 4K is really all I need. I don't need 8K, none of that shit. So there's a scene in here when Batman is, it's in the third act, and Batman's coming down trying to take out Riddler's guys, and he blows up. If you guys remember, he blows up like the glass, and it's kind of like in a bat symbol. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that, but the explosions and just how it looked, just immaculate. I couldn't ask for anything more. I think if HDR is added to this, it might add a bit too much color, because what I got, I think, is just perfect. Anything over that might be doing it like overdoing it a bit. That's why I didn't really care about the HDR loss there. But just really great, fantastic editing. The cinematography really helps. The only thing I don't like about the cinematography in this movie is that Matt Reeves decides to put like a haze kind of over everything. So like Batman's standing there, and you can see the back of him, and then you see the city, and then the city just has like this haze to it, kind of like the OG Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. If you ever played that, you know what I'm talking about. And some like that scene in particular, where Batman's standing there, and the camera's behind him, and you can see the whole city, and it's not crystal clear, and there is that haze. It looks really good, but there's some parts I think they just should have done like a traditional shot with no like filter. There's a scene at the end where they're doing the reporting about Gotham and how it's flooded and everyone needs to evacuate. And Jim Gordon's standing behind the mayor, and it really looks like he's just, everyone there is just CGI'd in. And then there's like a haze filter over it. Never really been a fan of that kind of cinematography, but Matt Reeves doesn't use it a lot. He only uses it like when there's, a big epic shot, which kind of does take a bit away from it. I wish he just didn't add the haze. Some scenes it works, some scenes it doesn't. But in the 4K, with everything a bit more detailed, the CGI definitely stuck out. It stuck out in the movie theater, but not a lot. But here, it just stuck out more because everything is so crisp and clean. And then you get to this haze, and it's kind of blurry. I get what he was trying to do, trying to make it a bit dirtier. but the movie already looks dirty in a good way. Captures Gotham City really well. I just don't think he needed to use it as much as he did. Overall, great movie, great acting, great shots, great editing, and the 4K disc. If you're a collector like me, physical media, I strongly recommend you buy this. And maybe the HDR would help in those darker scenes, but at the same time, you're not really missing out on much if you don't have the HDR, because in the darker scenes there's not too much going on. Another favorite scene, especially on the 4K disc, is when Batman walks to the room, everyone shoots him, and it's pitch black, and all you can see is the lights from everyone shooting their guns. That's all you can see, and it just looks immaculate. It looks so good. I really do want a Batman 2. At the same time, I don't. Too much of a good thing can be overdone. Kind of like the new Joker movie that's coming out. I'm a bit worried, just because the first one was so good and it ended off on a strong note. And I'd rather them just have one movie instead of, milking it. But who knows? The second one could be better than the first one. I won't know until we try it. I'm going to have a Snyder Cut 4K review. Just give you guys like the idea of like what it looks like. I don't really get into all the specs and all the other tedious things about 4K resolution and how it works. I would strongly recommend Jeff from Films at Home. His reviews are great. He talks about the movie, and then he talks about everything that is in the 4K disc. And, he's been at it a long time. Very, very intelligent man. If it wasn't for him, I would not have bought this 4K, because he made this worth buying. I'm just iffy because like the Terminator 2 4K was some shots were great, but you got to be careful of what 4K discs you buy, because sometimes the transfer isn't good and you're just kind of better off buying the Blu-ray if you want to save some money at least. So that's really the review. Like I said, really great lighting, and I think that's where 4K just shows how good it is with the lighting. Frame rate is really good. Everything is just buttery smooth. The main menu is terrific. And I forgot to say before the video ends, the soundtrack in this movie is fucking phenomenal. And the 4K disc comes with Dolby Atmos, so you got a soundbar or home theater system, crank that bitch up and just listen to it, because it is beautiful. I literally turned on the DVD and just sat there and listened to the music at the beginning of the screen before I started the movie. There's a lot of different audio options, but they knocked it out of the park with Dolby Atmos. When Batman's Batmobile comes out, when all the fight scenes happen, it gets so loud, yet so crystal clear. And that, I think, is where another thing where 4K succeeds, is the Dolby Atmos tracks. I know that the movies that we see in the cinemas aren't 4K, but I think Avatar was probably, like, Avatar 2 is the closest movie I saw to, it really did look like 4K, and the frame rate was like 60 frames per second, so it was really high, and it was really weird watching a movie like that. But overall, the Batman is definitely a must-buy on 4K. Please go check it out. If not, you should still watch the movie because it's pretty great. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you want more of these.